Hey everyone, I finished watching the next VR Troopers episode, Defending Darkheart Part 3. Or, it was 3. It's kind of weird, because it starts off kind of feeling like I skipped an episode. Like, I was watching it, and I kept thinking, oh geez, did I pick episode 4 instead? But, nope, I had the right episode. It's just weird. It's just set up in a way that makes you feel like you missed a lot of information. So, let's see. The troopers are trying to figure out how to de-virtualize Darkheart and return him to Tyler Steele. New information, but it's weird because they present it like it's stuff that we know. Like they're just talking casually about it. It's really weird. Grimlord wants to stop them and tries to recapture Darkheart. Let's see. At the newspaper, Percy shows Ryan and Caitlin a reality grid detector. He wants to use it to find the portal that the Scugs threw him into a while ago and get photos for a story. So he's testing out, or showing how it works. Somehow it activates a microwave, which electrocutes him. Uh, okay. Moving on from that, JB calls the troopers and tells them to, that's weird. My notes change the word calls to tells. That's not right. Autocorrect is weird sometimes. Anyway, JB calls the troopers to the... Okay, whatever. Moving on. Uh, on the way, they see smoke, and this woman runs out and tells them that her barn is on fire and horses are trapped. So they go to help, and they find inside the barn is some people with a smoke machine. The people turn out to be Scugs, there's a fight, and then they move on to the lab. There's some nice little subtle bits here, like when they go to the barn, you see the woman watch, and then you see her smile, and it's really subtle. You can't really tell, like, is it a sly, evil smile, or is it like a smile of relief? It turns out to be evil. She's a Scug, just like all the other people in the barn. This seems like this could be a really effective way to, like, take over the world. Have the Scugs become people, then have them, like, mix in with normal people. Because, like, for the most part, people might not be able to tell, like, if they're acting kind of suspicious or not. I feel like Grimlord's missing a really obvious opportunity right there. Whatever, moving on. Percy is out with his reality grid detector, and he stumbles carelessly off a cliff, and then we cut away from that. Is he okay? I don't know, who cares? Back to the actual plot. Ryan and Caitlin make it to the lab, they come up with a plan to break into Grimlord's dungeon. Why? I don't know. They think Darkheart's there, or something. They don't know where Darkheart is, even though at the end of the last episode, him and Ryan were seemingly getting along and agreed to work together, but now he's gone. So, and this is another thing that made me think, like, did I miss an episode? Like, why do they want to break into the dungeon? And then the weird thing is, right after that, Darkheart is ambushed by Grimlord's mutants and he's recaptured, and Grimlord plans to use him as bait to lure Ryan. And then, I guess lucky for him, the troopers were already planning on going anyway. And then all that's completely useless because Grimlord just contacts the troopers directly and gives them the exact coordinates of where to go. It's like, troopers, if you want Darkheart back, you have to go right here. Here's the coordinates. And like, so much of this episode is just like stuff happens and then like coincidences, like just the same thing. This episode's a mess compared to the first two, and the first two had issues too. But anyway, Ryan goes by himself to rescue Darkheart because Japanese footage. They don't even bother trying to come up with a reason why the others don't go. They don't even have like the air assault stock footage come in and have them go deal with that. Because it's more important to go see what Percy's up to. Percy is climbing down from the cliffside that he fell off of, and he finds that break in the reality grid that he was thrown into a few episodes ago. He tries to get a picture of it, but somehow it like zaps his camera, blows him back, and then he gets up and there's this weird looking creature coming out of the portal and it chases him away. which is easily the best part of the episode, because this creature is just really weird looking. It looks like a bunch of organs piled on top of each other on a stalk. Very strange creature. It looks like something out of Hellraiser or something. And that doesn't get any resolution in this episode, so I'm assuming it comes back next time. Although if it doesn't come back in the next episode, then I don't know. I'd still think that was really, really funny. Anyway, back to the actual story that's not nearly as interesting. Ryan finds who he thinks is Darkheart, but it turns out to be a decoy. Suddenly, more mutants show up with the real Darkheart. Ryan fights off the mutants, saves his father, but then there's more Grimlord's monsters and mutants after them. And meanwhile, Grimlord decides to attack Heart's lab, so Ryan can't take Darkheart there to be de-virtualized or whatever. And Heart contacts Ryan and tells him not to bring him to the lab, it's too dangerous, and Ryan doesn't know what to do. He can't take his father to the lab, so where else is there to take him? And that's where we end on the episode, and the ending is really good. The ending really does feel like the stakes have been raised, and there's some real tension there, but most of the episode is just obstacles aren't really there, but they act like they're there. I don't know. It's a very weirdly structured episode. The same with the other ones. The other ones kind of felt like they might have been had scenes placed out of order or something. I have no idea why exactly they made certain choices. Like there's certain things that happen and then other things happen when it seems like shouldn't this have happened before this thing? Because the troopers have information that they don't have until this point, or there's times where they're doing something and I can't figure out what the logic is because it doesn't make any sense to do this at this point. It's really confusing, and I really think that maybe there was another episode in between this and the last one that was some kind of, I don't know, there was maybe an episode that was more focused on Ryan and his father as Darkheart, like, reconnecting and bonding, and then he disappears at the end, and that leads into this one, but maybe they cut it because it was too slow, or maybe, like, they were working on this being a 5-parter, and they were like, well, that's too slow, so kind of integrate the plot elements into the previous episode and this one, or something. I really have no idea what exactly is going on with this. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff happening off screen that we're not seeing. Oh yeah, and the weirdest thing is definitely the troopers planning to break into Grimlord's dungeon. I have no idea why, because they don't know Darkheart's there. Like, as far as they know, Darkheart's just, I don't know, standing outside the lab for all they know. Oh yeah, Percy's better written and utilized than usual. He actually remembers Caitlyn's kiss from the first episode of this. Oh wait, no, it was the second one. So yeah, last episode. That's pretty cool that they actually remembered continuity from one episode to another episode, which is kind of rare for VR troopers, and especially for Percy. They really don't usually know how to handle him very well. Most of his comedy bits work. They're dumb, but it's far from the worst he's been handled. That's sad. Oh, and also one thing I do like that's a little subtle thing, when Percy's chased by that creature that comes through the portal, I don't know where the creature came from, and it's never acknowledged by Grimlord. Professor Hart never mentions anything about it. And I think that's a neat little way to expand on the world really subtly. Like, this creature, is it one of Grimlord's mutants? I don't know. Is it, like, what is it? There's a bit of a mystery with it, and that's kind of cool. It'll probably pop up next episode. Like, I looked up information on it, and it had a name over here in the US version, so it must be, I don't know, it was one of Grimlord's monsters, and it's just not one that he was paying attention to at the time. Anyway, for all the problems this episode has, the pace is really quick. It's entertaining enough, and the quick pace kind of makes the continuity hiccups easy to ignore. Like, if I was just binging this one episode after the other, none of my issues that I have with it would have even come to mind. I'd just be watching this episode right after all the other episodes, right into the next episode, and like the weirdness with we got to break into Grimlord's dungeon for some reason, and then it's immediately like, oh, by coincidence, Darkheart just happens to be there, and then Ryan goes by himself. Yeah, it's dumb, but it's okay. Like, it's weird because it's not a very well put together episode, but it's entertaining. There's plenty of Japanese, like, Metal Heroes footage in there, so that's cool. That definitely helps boost its quality a little bit, so not a whole lot else to say about this one. It's a okay episode, even though it has some pretty bad continuity problems and logic issues, but, I mean, it is VR Troopers, so. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.